Hey guys, welcome to our very first podcast of Sports Backstage. And today, the first guest ever on our podcast is Mahazin. So Mahazin, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Mahazin. Previous to doing what we are doing currently, I was working in the finance industry for quite some time, and worked there for quite some time. Did my postgrad, played a bit of sports as I was growing up. So sports has been an integral part of my life throughout. Always enjoyed watching sports, playing it also. And so here I am doing something that I love, and I want to be working there for the rest of my life. That's me.
So what are you doing currently?
I'm currently pursuing my post graduation in sports management, and it's a 15 month program, post which I aspire to work in sponsorship and do stuff that probably excites me. Still kind of figuring out what I want to do basically. So that's that.
Right. So, like he said, he has already worked in the world of finance, corporate finance, for how many years?
For 9 years.
9
I don't know
years.
that one. It's okay.
So, what actually happened? Why did you like?
So if I have to put it in one word, it's pure misery. I was just done working a desk job for 9 to 5, and then getting bored end of the day, holding my head and whatever.
So you said for 9 years you were in finance. Okay, I'm sorry, but how old are you right now?
Do we want to do that? I'm 32 years old.
Wait, so at 32 he took the decision to make a career switch.
Do something that I love. So that's how probably my theology will look like. I always always wanted to do something, and then if I didn't try, so that was basically my uh, motto. I mean, not motto. I mean, I was so bored in the 9 years that I worked doing whatever I was doing, and then in one fine day suddenly it meant this is not I want to do. I mean, this is not what I want to do. I mean, I could not picture myself what I would be doing in the next 5 years, and then the next thought that came to my head is I should be doing something that I love, and then there was only one thing that I loved. That was sports. So
Sports.
yes, so that's why I'm here.
Well, a lot of people love sports, like, and I know very few of them who have actually gone ahead and chosen it as a career, have the guts to do it. Right? Very few around us. We probably don't know many people working in the sports industry. When we think sports, we think that
खेलने
या तो
वाले
खिलाड़ी बनेंगे या तो कोच बनेंगे, इससे ज्यादा कुछ है नहीं, या तो ज्यादा फिजियो बन जाएंगे.
Yes.
बट अब जो हमें पता चला कि और भी बहुत सारे करियर्स होते हैं, जैसे in the beginning already is already mentioned things like finance, sponsorship,
Yeah.
and marketing, and so many things which we will talk about in the further video as well. Alright, so tell me, now that you have joined your course, how does your typical day look like?
So my day typically starts with I wake up. I mean, right now schedule is a little hazy, but the ideal schedule that I would like to have is which should include. I mean, it should include.
No, tell us what you do.
Right now, what
Ideally something
ideal हम ideal पहुंच जाएंगे, but that's how it was. I mean, then for some reason because things have not been advertised. So I wake up, I work out for a couple of hours, have my tea, breakfast, leave for college, spend like 6 hours. 6 hours that we spent inside the college. We have a lot of the faculties that come in, brilliant faculties that teach us a lot of knowledge, and then also trying to figure out how do I fit in whatever is being taught, and then how does that align to what I want to do, where my interest lies. So yes, I'm still in the mix of figuring out what I want to do, and there are certain focus areas that I have, but also not open to exploring other options.
So, like you said that now you're going to college again, and after a gap of what 9-10 years, you're going to college again. So, how hard was the shift of again adapting to a classroom, again adapting to that timetable of a student life all over again? How
So
hard is that?
funny story. In my friends group circle, as you can assume, we are all grown up 30-year-old men. So I am Major Ram from Memuna. So if you connect the context, that's what my friends call me, Major Ram. So anyone who's watched Memuna will understand what the context is. So that's how. But then it doesn't feel like I am actually in a college inside studying from books and all that stuff, because the kind of knowledge that first of all is given to us, and also the way we are absorbing all that knowledge, it's with interest. I mean, I think we all in our lives has been to college, and then we have been sitting in classrooms and wondering, why am I doing this? I mean, ये क्या पका रहा है, क्या चल रहा है, I don't want to do this.
ये Pythagoras कब काम आएगा? आज तक काम नहीं आया.
How does things actually apply in the world, real world? But here it's not that. It's actually what is being taught to us is what's happening in the real world. So it's kind of fun. It gets at a point. I mean, it becomes sometimes exhausting, but then you have to be in the grind all the time to figure out. I mean, how you're going to come out good out of it. So that's that.
So Mahazin, now that you have already started, how many months? 5 months, 6 months?
5 months. Yeah, 5 months. Roughly.
So you're already 5 months into the course. So you also must have gotten some exposure to the industry. You must have also learned a lot of things that you didn't know. So what are some of the challenges that you think someone might face in the sports industry as a executive or a managerial position?
I think the biggest, most important challenge that someone would come across is trying to figure out where they fit in. I mean, in the entire sports ecosystems vertical. Because everything that you look at, it's pleasing. I mean, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, that's how I am. अरे मेरे को ये भी करना, कोई faculty आके कुछ सिखा के अरे मेरे को ये करना,
ये अच्छा लग रहा है,
ये अच्छा लग रहा है, I want to work with you. But then have that fixed mindset कि नहीं मेरे को ये करना है. So that's going to be challenging. That is within you to decide. And also one of the other aspects of how the sports industry works is your networks. I mean, the more you're connected inside the industry with people, I mean, not just people, random people, but people who actually make the decisions inside the organizations. I mean, that's also very important. And you have to be relevant. I mean, hi, hello, how are you doing? I want a job is not going to do that. You have to have substance, and I think that's what we have been hearing.
You have to bring some skill sets.
Yeah, skill sets that. So I think all the faculties that have come to us and taught us over, they've told us not to go to an employer telling them I want a job, but rather tell them what your skill sets are, and if that skill set aligns with what they are looking for. So that's kind of a challenge.
I mean, at the end of the day, like sports industry, yes, it is about sports, but it is also a business at the end of the day.
Yes.
People have opened firms and companies and teams to make a profit.
Absolutely.
People who own IPL teams, yes, they do it out of passion, but they also want to make the P&L sheets look,
Absolutely.
green
Healthy
everywhere.
for their sponsors, for their partners and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
so
Yes.
any sports industry or any sporting company that you go to, they will ask you, why should I hire you?
Absolutely.
So
that's where I think, rather than talking about why, what is that you want, I mean, tell them what you have that they can use. Is this something that I'm trying to work on? I'm trying to figure out what are my skill sets, what are my USPs that I can go to an interview and tell them, this is what I am, I mean, and this is what I think you guys will benefit from me, and that's
okay, so let's talk about that now. So what do you think are the most important qualities in order for someone to succeed in this industry?
One thing, hands down, you have to be persistent. I mean, because you are going to fail a lot. I mean, let's be on that page for a while, because not everything's going to make you happy in the beginning. Probably you might not get a job that you want to get to. I mean, but then that's also a learning. I mean, you get to learn probably something that you thought you didn't want to learn, and then you understand, okay, this is something that is interesting. Probably there is a career there for me. But you have to be persistent. A lot of people are going to reject you. You might not get a lot of responses from people that you approach. The LinkedIn messages are going to be just cold messages, cold emails, cold calls, and all that. So you have to be, number one thing is you have to be persistent. Second one, you have to have a strong mindset. I mean, focused. कि मेरे को ये करना है. Decide by the end of, probably if you join any sports management curriculum, you should be able to figure out by the end of the course कि भाई मेरे को ये करना है. This is what I want to do. While I'm in the sports industry, मेरे को इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं करना. उसके आजू बाजू जो भी आएगा, there will be all distractions. So you have
also I feel like on that point, like if you're coming to do sports management, you should come with the mindset that I will have to work hard here.
Absolutely.
And I will. This is what I want to do in my life as well.
Yes.
Because yes, when you search it on Google or you look in other places, it is sports management. आपको शायद लगेगा कि मैं दिन भर खेलते रहूँगा, इधर ये मजाक मस्ती करते रहूँगा, but ऐसा नहीं है. आपको सीरियस काम करना है यहाँ पे, सीरियस पढ़ाई होती है यहाँ पे।
Also, one more thing, since we are on the topic, we are talking about sports. I mean, कितने जन ही sports खेलते हैं? I mean, if you take the entire population of a country, or I mean, how the world stats look, and उसके अंदर अगर तुम बोलो कि sports management वाले कितने हैं, so you can understand the competition that you are already in. First of all, the market we are talking about sports is this much, and then you put the sports management vertical into that, where we are trying to run the sports. You think of the people that would be actually there. So I mean, example, you take up any sports management company. Look at the number of employees that they have. I mean, they are limited because they don't need that much people to work. And on that's how this. So the competition that you are in already is very tough. So you have to be good at so many things. Also stand out in front of all those people in the crowd. So that's a challenge that you have to beat, and then be ready for whenever that time comes.
So, like now there are a lot of institutes which offer this course. Even the government of India is opening up sports universities around the country. And when we Google, there are so many colleges and institutes offering the course. So, how did you choose the one you're currently in?
So it's a funny story. I mean, the day I decided that I don't want to do what I'm doing, I just went online, and then so there is another backstory though. It's like when I was in my 12th grade, I wanted to actually do sports management, but then considering when I was in my 12th standard, it was way back, and then there was nothing as such as sports management that people knew about, at least in the Indian context. So I had decided what I want to do. I'd even shortlisted an institute, but I think then that the pessimism set in, and then I like, nahi, I mean, I can't do this. What if I fail? And because there has been a lot of failures prior to that. I mean, so I don't want to do something and then fail, and then so that's where I dropped.
Yeah,
it.
and I mean,
then I got into the muddle of things.
Age that you're in, like, it is, I think, more risky for you than it is for anyone else.
Yes,
absolutely. We have
absolutely.
a few people like him and a couple more guys, who have had long careers prior to this, and then they made the career switch. And making a career switch is one thing, but then first going and getting a formal education about that career, and then working in that industry, it takes guts, and I think hats off to you for that.
I mean, it was just that. I mean, if I'm going to get in, because I've always been like that. I've been someone. अगर करना है तो पूरी तरह करो, ना तो मत करो.
अच्छे से करो, मत करो.
So I've always, I think I followed that. I mean, even when I was working, even though I did not like my job, I used to do what was expected of me 100%. And I think that's what people always spoke about and appreciated about me, was that I did what was expected and I delivered whatever was expected. So that's something that I probably take as a good, what do you call it, a good quality, or a good, what do you call it, feedback from people. So that's basically that. And coming back to the question about how did I land up with this institute, it was just via Google search, and then or just scrolling through social media, and then ad popped up, and this is the institute. I just put in my request query form, and then I got a call, and then everything. I mean, I think it hardly took me a week to decide that I want to do this,
really?
rather than just pondering over it, ki nahi karna hai, because I was also in the midst of trying to think, when I decided कि नहीं मेरे को ये काम में I don't want to work in finance, I was also considering the option of going abroad and studying. But then when I did my research, I spoke to people, and then I also understood the cost of getting a formal education from outside. It was at this point of my career, or at this point of my life, too damn expensive for me as well. And then when I spoke to the guys from the institute that I was doing, and I mean, they told me we are giving you the same quality, same type of education. We are just cutting short the expenses, and then it only made sense for me to do what I'm doing right now.
And I think that one more problem which people who pursue similar course from abroad and then they come back to the country, an issue that they face is that they learn everything according to that country's curriculum, and then when you come to India to implement that, मतलब भाई इधर ऐसे नहीं चलता.
Sports
India में हर चीज का अलग system है.
Is different. Yeah, we are our own system in itself. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, तुम UK से पढ़ के आओ, US से, ऑस्ट्रेलिया से पढ़ के आओ, वहाँ पे लोगों का thinking अलग है, और लोग काम करने का ethics अलग है. India में everything is different, man. I mean, to get something done, you might get it done through jugaad, or you might have proper SOPs in place, but you never know what is the challenge you're going to face.
Funnily, I was listening to something on the internet, and then those guys were speaking about merchandise. How merchandise sales does not work in India, but it does in the Western countries. Because
Yeah.
हम पैसा देने, we Indians don't want to pay for,
Yeah.
even if it's the team that we are diehard supporters of. We would rather not. We would want something that is
Fake
cheaper.
jerseys, stadium के
And that is why. Why do you
100 रुपए में
think
मिलते हैं।
the official merchandise industry of India is not doing so great?
भाई अगर सेम लुकिंग जर्सी मेरे को एक मैच के लिए 100 रुपए में मिल रहा है बाहर, मैं कर रहा हूँ, आई एम स्पोर्ट्स एंथुसियास्ट, आई एम सेइंग दिस, मेरे को 100-150 में स्टेडियम के बाहर मिल रहा है, मैं क्यों जाके शोरूम में 5000 का खरीदूंगा?
We've all been guilty of
एंड ऊपर से क्या बोलते हैं वो कल्चर हमारे यहाँ ना था ना है, एंड शायद आने में बहुत टाइम भी लगेगा.
Yes, and then that is probably what the people in the sports ecosystem are trying to tackle right now. I mean, we are talking about IPL. I mean, we are not talking about even football.
Yeah.
IPL के fans भी बोलते हैं कि I don't want to pay for 5,000 for a jersey. I mean, if you see in the start of the IPL, all the teams had sponsors. Adidas, Reebok, Puma, and all those guys.
Yeah.
And what happened? I mean, nobody was willing to pay for their jerseys. I mean, 5,000 किसी को नहीं देना. Even though I mean, we can sit and talk for hours if you want to go there. Yeah, but
Alright, so what is the role of social media in the sports industry? What do you feel, how important is social media nowadays, and how?
Everything. I mean, I think social media is probably the biggest driver right now, because you pick up any brand, and if they are not even social, I mean, if they are not present on social media, they're done for. I mean, talk to me about one brand that doesn't have a social media team that is taking care of their social media. So I think social media plays an important role, not just in the lives of brands, but also athletes, and also in our lives. I mean, for example, take my example. I mean, if I'm not on LinkedIn, if I'm not posting regularly on LinkedIn, if I'm not trying to connect with people on LinkedIn, I'm irrelevant. I mean, people would not even know that I exist. So it's probably the most important thing if you consider in anyone's life, be it a brand, a big team, or a big athlete, or a small athlete, or people like us who are want to aspiring sports management professionals. It is important, and you cannot be saying that I don't want to do social media.
Yeah,
That's,
you must. You need to have your own personal brand.
Absolutely, you're creating, yeah, absolutely. What is social media trying? You need your own brand. I mean, people need to look at it and say, okay, this guy has solid, because they're not going to come talk to you in the first instance. If they like you, they'll probably first thing they'll do is go through your LinkedIn, go through your Instagram, check what have you done and what have you been doing, and then probably if they feel that okay, this guy has some material, then they will come talk to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's
like
something.
Even when you apply for companies, people do review your LinkedIn's, right?
Absolutely.
People after LinkedIn, if they don't find much material there, they will go to your Instagram. Twitter, I don't think Twitter and Facebook.
Indian context, Twitter is probably. I mean, there might be people.
You might, unless you're posting very industry specific,
yes,
relevant content on Twitter, that might be there. So you can definitely look at that. And I think Instagram and LinkedIn are your top priorities. That if you're at a professional career, I think that should be polished, and that's something we work on regularly as well. We keep polishing our LinkedIn as much as possible, our Instagram as much as
staying
possible.
relevant.
Now, in fact, even YouTube.
Yeah.
We're here on YouTube as well. कुछ नहीं छोड़ना है भाई, तुम्हें सब करना है.
तभी तुम्हारी इज्जत है, तभी तुम बने रहोगे.
Because at the end of the day, imagine you do this for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Just imagine the amount of content you will have created, of your own.
The people that you are engaging with, talking to.
Yeah, I mean, don't do it with the goal of coming and कि मेरे को 50 million subscriber करने हैं, मेरे को वो करना, मेरे को Mr. Beast बनना है. नहीं, you have to be specific to what your specialties are, what your niche is, and you have to stay true to that.
Absolutely, we cannot agree more. Yes.
Alright, so now final 2 questions, alright? Alright, so tell me, what is the advice you would give to someone who is, let's say, a Mahazin 5 months back, who is looking to pursue a career in this industry?
I think it's
what should they look out for? What should they, what is something you learned? What is something that you think, watch out for this, or yes, please do this. So what is your advice?
So first thing, I think is, if you want to do it, if it's your passion, it's your calling, never go against your passion or your calling. If in your heart you feel that, sports or sports management is something that I see myself doing for the rest of my life, please go and follow that passion, because you don't want to be at the end of your life on thinking कि भाई सब मैंने कोशिश भी नहीं की. ठीक है, you might not. And I mean, how old? I mean, I'm talking about me. I'm 32 years old. I'm taking this step, even though I know it.
Well, you know that pose in the youth, what's your excuse?
Yes, what is that? Day one or one day.
Yeah.
There is so much
Yeah.
anecdotes that we can use right now. But if at this point, if I'm taking this decision to do what I want to do and then not regret it, at least I know that when I'm there at the end of my life, I'll be thinking कि भाई मैंने try किया. I fail, I do well. Probably, I'm hoping I do well.
You'll do well. You'll do
Is,
well.
is the point. But even if you don't, but then you will not live with that regret कि भाई साहब मैंने try नहीं किया at least. So that's one advice that I would have for anyone who wants to pursue. And then rest of the things you will figure out because भाई कोई सीख के नहीं आता. सबको सिखाया जाता है. And then if you have that passion that कि मेरे को सीखना है, then there is nothing stopping you from learning, because
Yeah.
if you want to learn it, you will obviously learn it, because there are people out there who is willing to teach you. So I don't think that's a problem. First is the decision that you have to stick to is following your passion. Second is learn, because I think each faculty, and even at this stage of my career, I have not stopped learning. And I don't think if you speak to a 40-year-old guy, like a faculty that has come to our institute and taught us, I mean, they would not tell us that कि भाई मैंने सब सीख लिया. I mean, it applies to every industry, I'm sure, but specifically in sports context, because it's a fast evolving. Look at how the Indian sports industry was 5 years back or 10 years back. Look at it, what it is now. I mean,
Yeah, there's so many jobs
IPL
coming
rights,
up.
IPL rights are being sold for what? I mean, exorbitant money, and so
I
you
mean,
just look at the evolution that has happened.
If you have some passion, some discipline, I think it's harder not to find a job than it is to find a
Yes,
job.
because you are doing something at the end of the day that you love. I mean, you're waking up and you're like, oh, this is what I want to do, and
Yeah.
I'm getting to do that. I mean, you wanted to play sports, and I wanted to play sports. I wanted to become a professional footballer, but that didn't work out. But then right now, if I'm helping this the football in the country grow, and people are getting those chances that probably I did not have. I mean, I don't think there is a more better calling or more better goal that I can probably run or chase. So that I can think of. So yeah, that's basically that. Two things that I think you should stick to, and the third thing would be please network.
Yeah.
Please network, because no matter how introvert you are in your life, if you don't speak to people in the industry, nobody is going to know that you exist. So
Yeah.
have your LinkedIn's and have your social media. Develop contacts with people that you meet. I mean, your batchmates or whoever you are. I mean, people that are there.
Speak
in
to
this
people.
Speak. I mean, right now. I mean, after doing this course, I'm seeing so much change in myself. I used to be a traveler that, I mean, I recently traveled to my native place, and then I was in the train. I'm someone in the past who would not speak to anyone. I mean, my fellow passengers. And right now, and this trip, I actually spoke to people. I got to know what they're doing, what their stories are. So yeah, you see
You
the
really want to
changes.
know more about that?
It's not that story. It's a different story. I met a fellow friend. I mean, he was good. I mean, I got to know what he was doing. So yeah, people conversations, I think it does only help. So yes, that's something that three tips that I spoke about. Yeah, three tips that you need to probably make it or break it. So yeah.
Alright, so I'll just club the last two questions together. That you've done a lot of internships, you've gotten the experience as well. It's getting hot also now, guys.
Absolutely, I'm sweating.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap this up soon. So you've done some internships as well. How was your experience there? And after all the course is done and everything, at the end of this, maybe let's say 10-15 years later, what does success mean to you? How would you want it to look like, you know? So yeah, after internships, and then how would you like this to be?
I think probably. I mean, I'm so this is an assignment that has been given to us. We have to write our eulogy. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So
Completely forgot about that.
so yes, so we have to do that. So I'm trying to picturize how it would be, and I think definitely what I would be willing or wanting to see is football. I mean, I'm having to have had to contribute something in the field of football or in my dream, because I want to see my country represent the biggest tournament in the world. I mean, the World Cup. I mean, I know it's a far-fetched dream,
The
but then
FIFA World Cup. We
the
want
FIFA
to
World
see
Cup.
India play there.
India
want
player.
to.
We all do. I mean, being an Indian, and if you are in a sport that you follow so passionately and you like all that about the sport, and then not seeing your country there, I mean, it kind of hurts. But then also the road is long. But yes, so that is something that I want to make an impact in. My internships, one thing. Okay, so internships is a good is a tricky spot to be in. While doing an internship, you either get to know whether you want to do this or you don't want to do this. So
Yeah.
it's a very fine line.
Yeah.
So like I have done internships and then I'm like, okay, I did it, but do I want to do this for the rest of my
I was
scoring
very
career?
hung up on like I want to do operations. I want to do
Yes.
operations. But then we got a few operation internships,
And
and
then
now I'm
it's-
reconsidering my decision.
It's very exhausting because I'm not trying to put down people who
No,
work
no,
in operations. I mean, hats
it
off to them
doesn't-
because
doesn't have to apply to everyone.
they lose their sleep and days, and they don't have track of whatever how their day is, and then but in the end you have a certain liking and you have a certain disliking.
It's the most important
Absolutely.
vertical in the industry. Like
Absolutely. If
people are
they don't deliver, there is there is
Yeah.
no production, then probably
no
nobody's
product
watching.
is going to come out with this.
Nobody's watching sports on from wherever they are watching it. So yes, internship is kind of tricky, but then don't shy away from internships.
Yeah.
Grab as many as of them you can. I mean, even if they are not what you want to do, gain the experience. You will figure out whether you want to or don't want to do that. So that's two things that I want to speak about.
Alright, so we'll wrap it up right there. I think we
Yes.
couldn't have ended it on any better note.
Better note.
And
Sweating so profusely.
time to get a nice chilled lassi or
Please subscribe to
mango
this
shake.
channel, subscribe, like so that we can grow.
बस खून नहीं भाई पसीने तो बह ही रही है
Yes.
काफी मेहनत लग रही है और हम लोग काफी मेहनत कर रहे हैं कंटेंट बनाने के लिए स्पोर्ट्स मैनेजमेंट सेंट्रिक स्पोर्ट्स सेंट्रिक to speak more about the business of sports in this country because India is developing very rapidly into a sporting nation.
Absolutely.
And we want you to be on that train as well. We have already boarded it. So subscribe to us, watch our content, and you will find many useful things. We're not going to do clickbaits and give you stuff that is a waste of your time and our time because our time is also precious and so is yours. So I'm going to be inviting many more guests over the next episodes, and I look to add value to your day with my content. And this was the first podcast, and thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, man. I hope you guys like how we did it, and then that's that.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram mohd_mahzin.
So
I mean, better to connect with me on LinkedIn.
yeah, LinkedIn as well.
Because I think
So
that's more fun.
what's your name on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, it's Mahazin. I don't think there are many people. There are many Mahazins out there. MAHAZIN.
No one gets his name right the first time. And wait, what's your full name?
We will have to run this episode quite long.
Alright guys.
Thanks,
See you.
guys.
Like, share and subscribe.
Yes,
Cheers.
please, yes. Thank you.